Bioenergy plays an important role both in cleaning the environment and lifting people out of poverty. At the same time, it's an outstanding investment opportunity with 30% pre-tax return. I am Doug Peterson, the CEO of VayuGrid, and today I'm pleased to introduce our company and our bioenergy solution for both rural farmers and mine reclamation. Now, I grew up in Nebraska and was used to cornfields as far as the eye could see. You can imagine my shock when visiting farms in India where they have on average 2 acres of land to farm. Most of the fields I visited had more rocks than soil, and the farmers had an obvious lack of income. Most of the homes lacked electricity. And when I visited mines, I saw even worse. Farmers had been relocated to build the mines, and huge swaths of land were without any reclamation after mining was done. Globally, there are 40 million acres that need to be reclaimed for mining activities. So 8 years ago, we at VayuGrid linked up with a leader in India for farming semi-arid lands. Based on his 25 years of research in a variety of trees for bioenergy, we developed 2 programs. But first, let me tell you that these trees produce 2 things. First, an oil, which is used for biodiesel, and briquettes, which is used for electricity. Now, our first program is called Bioenergy Zones, where we work with farmers in marginal lands to produce both clean energy and income for these farmers. Through this program, we're able to generate 10 times the yield of oil per acre compared to the plants that are used for biodiesel in the United States. Our second program is called Green Mining Zones, where we convert reclamation from a cost center to a profit center by planting bioenergy trees as a reclamation plants for mines. These trees clean the soil. So obviously our core technology is a tree. Other varieties of trees have been tried before by other people, primarily the Jatropha tree, and it didn't fare very well in these harsh environments. We have patented an elite variety of the Pongamia tree, and we've called it the Vayu sap. Now let me highlight a few key things about the Pongamia and Vayu sap. First, it's native to India and Africa, therefore we know it's going to survive in these harsh environments. Second, it's not genetically modified, therefore we know it's not going to have a negative impact by introducing it into the environment. Third, it's a legume tree, so we don't need expensive fertilizers year over year for the trees to grow. The trees put nutrients into the soil and they clean the soil. These trees are very robust to low rainfall, to very high heat, and even a wide variety of pests. Through our research, we've been able to increase the yield by 4 times over average Pongamia trees and cut the time to yield in half. And last but not least, these trees will produce year over year for 60 years. So let me now introduce our social impact model. Our bioenergy zones are run by communities of farmers. We train them in how to plant the trees, how to prune the trees, and how to harvest to optimize the yield. Each year, the tree yields over 150 kilograms of pods, which we convert into 3 products. First, the shells we make into briquettes that are very high in calorific value, therefore we call them green coal, and we use it for electricity. Second, the seeds inside the pods are very high in oil content. We press the oil out and use it for biodiesel. The leftover seed cake is very high in protein, and we use it as an animal feed. The revenues that the farmers make out of these projects change them from sustenance farming to earning over $2,000 per acre, which, as a matter of perspective, represents a 5 times increase over what typical marginal farmers earn in India. We also now produce electricity so they can electrify both their homes and their communities. Our other solution is our green mining zones. And to understand those, let's look at India as an example. In India, there are thousands of mine sites which are closed due to lack of reclamation. And those sites who do reclamation it costs them more per acre to do reclamation and plant their reclamation trees than it costs to build a green mining zone. Additionally, with a green mining zone, once it becomes cash flow positive after year 3, that income can be used to generate more reclamation activities or expand the green mining zone. Therefore, the green mining zone becomes a self-funded activity. Pongamia trees will clean the contaminated soil and add nutrients back into the depleted ground. The oil can be used to replace the diesel used in the mining activities, and additionally will have a positive social impact to the local communities, creating jobs and electricity for their homes. So what do the numbers look like for our projects? Well, if we start by looking at a single tree, it will start producing after year 3, and it will produce 155 kilograms of pods per tree at maturity, which is usually around 12 to 15 years. And it will continue to produce this amount for 60 years. We plant about 250 trees per acre. So if we look at a typical large-scale project, first the investment dollars, the $22 million, will go all the way from planting the trees in the ground to maintaining the trees until the project is cash flow positive. This is enough the $22 million is enough to create 12,000 acres of bioenergy zones, plant 600,000 VayuSap trees, and have a positive impact on 6,000 farmers and their families. In maturity, the project will generate over $30 million in profits, an IRR of over 17%, and 30% pre-tax returns. By comparison, solar and wind have less than 10% pre-tax returns. Our goal is to go beyond just one single project. Our goal is to plant over 1 billion VayuSap trees in the ground over the next 10 years. So what would the next 4 years look like? It would require $130 million investment, from which we'd be able to generate 60,000 acres of bioenergy zone and 25,000 acres of green mining zone, almost $700 million cash flow year over year at maturity. Now this cash flow we're going to be using for achieving our goal of 1 billion VayuSap trees in the ground and become a global leader in clean energy. So many people ask, can this really be real? Well, these are not just numbers on a spreadsheet. Our first project was done for JSW Steel in Karnataka, India. It was a green mining zone. In the bottom picture, in the background, you can see the largest steel mill in Southeast Asia. This land is very rocky and there's very little rainfall, and so 2 times they had planted trees in this area, and both times they failed. With our VayuSap trees, we had a 99% tree survival rate. These trees are now continuing to grow, and year over year they're able to validate our financial model and the yields that we projected. So now I'd like to cover our investment ask. What we're seeking is $2 million to cover our operations and $20 million to build our first large-scale project in India. We've selected this project in the state of Uttar Pradesh in the Hamirpur district, where the community is not electrified, the soil is marginal, and we have 12,000 acres available for us to plant. We've been working with this community of 5,000 farmers and their families, and we've also been sponsored by the State Renewable Energy Agency. After running through the numbers with them, they've been able to validate our plans of 30% pre-tax returns. So our goal at VayuGrid is to change lives and improve the environment. We've built a strong team, we've validated our technology, we've impacted farming communities and mine reclamation across India, and we've built a sustainable social impact model with 30% pre-tax returns. Thank you.